being tit for tat.
It's not tit for tat.
I thought it was tit for tat.
It's
I
not
thought it
tit
was
for tat.
petty.
Because how many times have you seen me do it? Never.
So you did it one time.
It don't matter. That's not tit for tat. If you done did it 30 times, I do it once. That's not tit for tat,
But
bro.
you did.
Are you serious? I'm the bad guy?
Me not agree.
Nobody expected Love and Hip Hop. Atlanta Season 13. To explode like this, but leave it to young Jock and Ashley to turn what should have been a sweet anniversary into a volcanic disaster. The night started with roses, champagne, and promises of forever. But it didn't end that way. One wrong comment, one buried resentment, and suddenly Jock was on his feet, yelling back like we haven't seen since his early seasons. Ashley, never one to back down, matched his energy word for word. And what followed was one of the most explosive arguments in LHHATL history. Raw accusations, painful truths, and a bombshell about their relationship that nobody saw coming. Was this the beginning of the end for Jock and Ashley? Or just another storm in their chaotic love story? Buckle up, because this fight changes everything for Season 13. It was supposed to be a reset.
Zane be a different every day. I'm like, bruh. I'll be like, wait, okay.
Here's the thing. I think this happens a lot. Y'all will mistake passion for aggression. Because when a woman is speaking from her heart, it's her intuition. If I speak from my heart, it's insecurity. When a woman says, hey, this is what it is, or else, that's passion. But when I say this is what it is, or else, it's narcissism and aggression. No, you say no.
The kind of anniversary night you post on Instagram with slow motion boomerangs and soft focus captions about real love takes work. Young Jock had the reservations. The roses, the private back room with the white tablecloths, and a violinist who kept hovering a little too close. Ashley walked in looking like the apology he hadn't figured out how to say yet sleek dress. Hair flawless, smile tight, eyes already calculating. The server poured champagne, and the first thing Jock said was, "To a new chapter." And that's when the air shifted. Ashley clinked the glass, but her "to us" sounded like a receipt. If you've watched this couple, you know the rhythm. He jokes to diffuse, she catalogs to be heard. Then the little jokes become little jabs. And before dessert arrives, somebody's voice has climbed a staircase. But tonight had the extra pressure of cameras, friends texting y'all good, and the weight of every past argument hiding under the linen napkins. They tried small talk first. Jock asked about the twins. Ashley asked about the studio. He said a feature was coming. She nodded and said, "Another promise." It was soft, barely above the hum of the room. Jock laughed it off. "Don't do me like that, Ash, not tonight." She sipped, didn't break eye contact, and replied, "Tonight is exactly when I'm gonna do it. Because I remember last anniversary too." You could see Jock swallow a comeback. He reached across the table, touching the back of her hand like a man who knows every bridge between them has a toll. "We here, ain't we?" he said. Ashley set the glass down carefully, as if the stemware was the only thing in the room that could shatter. "We're here," she said, "but are you?" And there it was, the question that isn't a question. Are you present? Are you consistent? Are you the man you posted you'd be? The violinist started a new song, too romantic, too loud, and Jock's smile hardened. "Look," he said, leaning back, throwing on charisma like a jacket. "I done took accountability. I done said sorry so many times it got frequent flyer miles. What else I gotta do?" "Ashley, stop acting like sorry is a budget plan, Jock. You pay a little now and think it covers later." That's when his shoulders squared. Not yelled jet, but the tone dropped from playful to protective. "So this whole dinner, this whole thing I put together, you came to read me my rights." "I came to see if you still know mine," she shot back. "Because every time I ask for something basic, time, respect, a heads up, you act like I'm billing you." A server arrived with appetizers, placing plates between them like referees. Jock thanked him with a smile that ended as soon as the server left. "You want respect?" Jock said. "Then stop talking to me like I'm your son. I'm a grown man who made mistakes, not a broken project." Ashley's eyes glistened, not from tears, but from a decision. "You're right," she said. "You're not a project. Projects get finished." The table went silent. Jock looked up at the ceiling like he was counting to 10 with the camera on him. And then his phone, face down near his bread plate, lit up with a name. Ashley didn't grab it. She didn't need to. She watched Jock watch it. The glow disappeared. He flipped the phone over, screen down, like hiding evidence in a movie he's seen before. Who was that? She asked without asking. Work, he said to Fast. On our anniversary. She countered. He smiled as if the answer were obvious. Money don't know what day it is. And respect doesn't miss a calendar, she said. Jock, this is exactly what I'm talking about. Your emergencies become my inconveniences, and my boundaries become your punchlines. He snapped a napkin across his lap, a small gesture that sounded louder than it was. You love to make me the villain. It's like you're allergic to my progress. Ashley leaned in. Progress isn't telling me you changed. It's me not having to ask. That line hit him. He didn't blink. The violinist, sensing the temperature drop, drifted away. In the awkward space, Jock tried another direction. So, what do you want right now? Because I'm here. I'm trying. You still mad about that party flyer? The studio run that went late. The podcast. Say it. Let's put names on these ghosts. Ashley tapped the table twice. Measured. Fine. I want you to stop flirting with nostalgia like it's harmless. Every time an old friend texts, every time an ex pops up in a comment, you get cute. You think it's promo? I think it's disrespect. Jock threw his hands up. Man, social media ain't real life. That's our problem, she said. You manage me like your followers only when it's time to post. He chuckled without humor. You rehearsed that? I lived it, she replied. The entrees arrived, beautiful plates, neither of them touched. Jock's jaw flexed. Okay, Ashley, if we keep it at 100, you love being right more than you love being married. There it was, the spark that finally found dry grass. Ashley didn't flinch. No, I love being safe. And I stopped feeling safe when I got you turned into my bad jocks. Voice rose. Not a yell, but close, the room tuning to their frequency. I'm human. You want a robot? You want a schedule more than a husband? I want a husband who doesn't make me choose between my peace and his potential. He laughed, once sharp, short. Potential? You acting like I'm some failed mixtape? I provide, I show up. I take care of home. Showing up means showing your phone too, she said, calm enough to cut. If it's all work, unlock it. Jock pushed his chair back an inch, pride flaring in the gap. You're not about to audit me like the IRS in a tuxedo. Trust ain't a passcode. Ashley nodded, a tiny, tragic nod that people make when they expected that exact answer. Exactly. The quiet that followed felt like a verdict. Jock stared at her, then at the cameras, then back at the woman he'd said new chapter to 10 minutes earlier. He leaned forward, elbows on the table, voice low so only she could truly hear it. You want honesty? Here it go. I'm tired of paying for a version of me I don't wear anymore. You keep dressing me in 2018 and getting mad that it don't fit. And I'm tired, she said, matching his whisper, of you renting growth for events and returning it the next day. He rocked back, stung. The server reappeared to ask about sauces and retreated immediately, sensing he'd walked into a storm not covered by policy. Jock shook his head. We supposed to be celebrating us? Instead, I'm fighting for me. Celebrate the truth, Ashley said. We're good on camera and brittle at home. We've been painting over mold. That line landed on him like a weight. He rubbed his face, trying to choose between pride and peace, and realizing both charged interest. So what now? He asked finally. We keep poking holes, or we patch something for real. Right now, she said, we tell the truth on the record for once. No cute captions, no curated we good posts. We acknowledge we're not. He nodded slowly. A man doing math in his ribs. Okay, truth on the record. He took a breath. I've been scared. Scared that if I stop performing, I disappear. Scared that if I hand you the whole phone, you'll hand me back a goodbye. Scared that love only wants the finished version of me. Ashley's face softened, a window opening in the middle of the fire. And I've been scared, she said, eyes glossing now, that choosing myself means losing us. That I'll look like the villain for asking for basic care. The table finally felt like a table again until the phone lit up a second time and vibrated hard enough to rattle the flatware. Jock froze. Ashley looked at the screen's glow, painting his knuckles. He made a choice, a small bad one or a small brave one, depending on who you ask, and flipped it over again, face down. Something in her closed with a click. Not a scream, not a plate thrown, not reality TV fireworks. Just a decisive quiet that's louder than any meltdown. She stood, draped the napkin over the untouched entree, and said, "Happy anniversary, Jock." It didn't sound cruel. It sounded finished. He stood too, the chairs scraping, hands out. Outside, the valet lights made everything look like a music video. Inside, the violinist started another song, softer now, for a love that had left early. Jock picked up the bouquet, stared at it, and then set it down in her empty chair, like leaving flowers at a memory. And that's where the night ended, not with a kiss or a clapback, but with two people who love each other standing on opposite sides of the same truth. The snap wasn't just his voice. It was the illusion breaking. The question now isn't who won the argument. It's whether there's anything left to celebrate next year, the morning after that chaotic anniversary dinner felt nothing like a new chapter. It felt like the first page of a breakup story. Jock woke up in an empty house. No Ashley in the kitchen, no sound of her humming over the espresso machine, not even a note. Just silence. And for a man who always believed he could smooth things over with a joke or a gesture, that silence was louder than any argument they'd ever had. His phone lit up with messages, not from her, but from everyone else. Kendra had texted, "Heard last night was bad. You okay?" Carly Red had left a voice note that started with "Boy ye" and ended with, "You might have done it this time." Even producers from Love and Hip Hop Atlanta were checking in. Word had already leaked that the dinner had gone left. Someone from the restaurant staff had spilled that. Jock and Ashley's voices were raised loud enough to be heard in the hallway. Across town, Ashley was with her sister, replaying every second of the fight over iced lattes and dark sunglasses. She wasn't crying, not yet, but her sister knew the look. It was the face Ashley made when a decision was forming. "He doesn't get it," Ashley said. "He thinks showing up is enough. He thinks being present is the same as being accountable." Her sister sipped her coffee and said carefully, "You gotta figure out if you want to teach him or leave him." Meanwhile, Jock was spiraling. He'd been here before, the aftermath of words he couldn't take back, trying to glue a relationship together with flowers and apologies. But this time felt different. This wasn't a misunderstanding. This was years of unresolved resentment boiling over on what should have been a night of love. And to make matters worse, the cameras hadn't missed a single second. LHHATL producers were already hinting that the footage from the dinner would be a major storyline this season. Jock knew what that meant. Whatever chance he had at fixing this privately was gone. Their fight was about to become public entertainment. Later that afternoon, they saw each other for the first time since the blow-up at a couple's brunch hosted by Rashida and Kirk. They hadn't spoken all day, and the tension was so thick you could feel it through the screen. Jock walked in trying to keep his usual cool, but Ashley barely looked at him. She was sitting with the girls, Sierra, Bambi, and Erica, all of whom were already up to speed. And if you know anything about love and hip-hop, you know that means opinions were flying before Jock even sat down. "I'm not saying leave him," Erica said, "but I am saying if he can't hand you the phone, he's handing you a message." "Exactly," Bambi added. "That's not about privacy. That's about priority." Ashley just stared into her mimosa. "I don't want to snoop," she said. "I want to trust, but I don't trust what I don't see." On the other side of the room, Jock was venting to Kirk and Scrappy. "It's like no matter what I do, she's already decided I'm the bad guy," he said. "I plan a whole night, and she turns it into a courtroom. When's it enough? Scrappy clapped him on the back. It's enough when she feels it's enough, bro. And right now, she don't feel it, Kirk nodded. Real talk? You keep saying you're not the man you used to be, but she keeps seeing the man you used to be. And that means either you're not changing fast enough, or she's not healing fast enough. The brunch eventually turned into an on-camera confrontation. Producers stirred the pot, as they always do, and Jock and Ashley found themselves face to face. Surrounded by castmates, cameras rolling, I tried to celebrate us, Jock said. You turned it into an interrogation. You tried to perform us, Ashley snapped. And I'm tired of pretending we're solid when we're sinking. Their friends tried to calm them down, but it was too late. Jock's frustration had hit a boiling point. He slammed his hand on the table, not in anger, but in desperation. Do you even want this anymore? Because I'm fighting ghosts and losing battles I don't even understand. Ashley's reply was ice cold. I want peace. And I don't know if that includes you anymore. The room went silent. Sierra's eyes widened. Erica mouthed, wow. Even Rashida, usually the voice of reason, didn't know what to say. Jock sat back, stunned, as Ashley stood up and walked out, leaving her half-finished drink behind Dot later that night. Jock posted a cryptic Instagram story. You can give everything and still be treated like nothing. Lesson learned. Fans immediately flooded the comments, some blaming Ashley for being too cold, others calling Jock a gaslighter in denial. Social media divided into hashtag Team Ashley and hashtag Team JOC within hours. Ashley didn't post anything, but she did unfollow Jock, and every fan page noticed. Blogs picked up on it, gossip sites speculated that they'd broken up, and even castmates were texting producers trying to figure out if they should prepare for a reunion episode or a breakup storyline. What nobody expected, though, was the twist that was coming next. Just 3 days after the brunch blow-up, a leaked clip from the Love and Hip Hop set hit social media, a confessional interview Jock had filmed right after Ashley left. And in that clip, he said something that stunned everyone. I think I'm losing her. And the crazy part? I get it. I gave her every reason to question me in the past, and now I'm mad she still questions me. That's not fair. That's me trying to skip the healing part. And if I'm being real, I might not deserve her if I can't fix that. The internet's reaction was instant. People who had been dragging him for days suddenly softened. That's the most honest thing he's ever said, one fan commented. At least he knows he's the problem. Others weren't convinced. Words mean nothing without change, another wrote. Meanwhile, Ashley was filming a confessional of her own. I love him, she admitted. I really do. But love isn't a hall pass. It's supposed to make you feel. The room felt heavier with every word. Jock rubbed his temples, his voice dropping to almost a whisper. I hate that I did this to us. I hate that I made you feel small. I hate that you see me as a threat instead of a safe space. But I also hate that I'm still paying for mistakes I already served time for. Ashley leaned back. Then stop making new ones. He laughed bitterly. You act like I'm out here doing the same dirt. I'm not. I go home. I work. I keep my circles small. But nothing I do will ever be enough for you because you already decided I'm the villain. Maybe, she admitted. Maybe I did. And maybe that's because every time I start to believe you've changed, you remind me why I stopped believing in the first place. The room fell silent again. It wasn't anger holding it now, it was exhaustion. Years of the same argument in different costumes, JOC broke it. Do you still love me? Ashley looked down at her hands. That's the worst part, she said. I do, but I don't know if love is enough anymore. That line sliced through him deeper than any insult could. So what now? He asked, voice barely audible. I don't know, she admitted. I want to believe we can fix this, but believing in you feels like betraying myself right now. He nodded, tears threatening but refusing to fall. I don't want to lose you. Then stop acting like you already have, she whispered. For a brief second, they just stared at each other, two people still in love, but drowning in everything love couldn't fix. And then, as if on cue, the conversation shifted from tears to truths they'd never spoken aloud before. Ashley confessed that the cheating rumors from years ago still haunted her. "It's not even about whether you did it," she said. "It's about how quickly I believed you could. That's how broken the trust is." Jock admitted he often felt emasculated in the relationship. "It's like nothing I do counts unless it's perfect. Like I'm constantly on probation. And sometimes that makes me want to give up." They both admitted they had become experts at hurting each other, not because they wanted to, but because they didn't know how to stop. And in that brutal honesty, something shifted. It wasn't forgiveness and it wasn't closure. But it was real. "I don't want to be enemies," Ashley said quietly. "Me neither," Jock replied. "I want to be your peace." "Then act like it," she said. The cameras captured every tear, every pause, every trembling breath. And when the conversation ended, they didn't hug. They didn't storm out. They just sat there to people who finally understood each other, but still weren't sure if understanding was enough. When the episode aired, fans were split right down the middle. Some called it the most honest conversation in LHHATL history. Others said it was the end of Jock and Ashley as we know them. Social media lit up with debates. Should Ashley forgive him? Should Jock let her go? Can love survive when trust has already left the building? And just when fans thought the story was settling into sad acceptance, the preview for the next episode dropped, and it was anything but calm. Ashley was seen talking to a new man in a teaser scene, while Jock was spotted at an event with a mystery woman by his side. The narration teased, sometimes closure isn't the end. Sometimes it's the start of something even messier. The war wasn't over. It was just moving into a new chapter, one where hearts might not break from betrayal. But from letting go, the aftermath of the sit-down wasn't what anyone expected. Fans thought the conversation would bring Jock and Ashley closer or tear them apart completely. Instead, it left them stranded in an emotional limbo, not together, not apart. Just two people tiptoeing around a future they weren't sure they still wanted. And in that uncertain space, temptation and chaos crept in like uninvited guests. For days after their heart-to-heart, Jock went quiet. He skipped public appearances, canceled a few studio sessions, and even ghosted some love and hip-hop events. According to people close to him, he needed time not just to reflect on what Ashley had said, but to ask himself a question he'd avoided for years. Can I really be the man she needs? Or am I just chasing a version of love that doesn't exist anymore? Ashley, meanwhile, was doing her best to move forward, or at least look like she was. She started going out more, posting carefully curated selfies with captions like "choosing peace" and "soft life activated." To her followers, it looked like a woman reclaiming her independence. But to those who knew her, was clear this was someone trying to convince herself she was okay. Then came the event that reignited everything. Rashida's annual Women Who Hustled Gala. It's a big deal in the LHHATL universe, a night where cameras are everywhere and drama is practically guaranteed. Jock wasn't supposed to attend. He'd told producers he needed a break from the spotlight. But at the last minute, he showed up, fresh haircut, crisp suit, trying hard to look UNBO-dery. Ashley was already there, glowing, confident, and surrounded by friends. When their eyes met across the room, it was like time stopped. There was no shouting, no awkward avoidance, just silence. But then, something unexpected happened. Jock wasn't alone. Standing next to him was a woman no one had seen before, tall, striking, clearly comfortable in his space. They weren't holding hands, but the body language spoke volumes. And within minutes, every phone in the room was recording. Ashley's smile didn't falter, but her posture changed. She crossed her arms, shifted her weight, and whispered something to Erica, who immediately looked toward Jock and muttered, "Oh, this is about to be good." When Jock and Ashley finally came face to face, the cameras swarmed. The air was thick with tension and a hint of something else neither of them wanted to name. "So, this is how we're doing it now," Ashley said, her tone sweet but razor sharp. "Doing what?" Jock asked, feigning innocence. "Bringing company to public events before the ink's even dry on our fight," she shot back. He smirked. "We ain't broken up. We just figuring things out. And I'm figuring things out by bringing a +1." She countered. "By living my life," Jock replied. "The same way you're living yours." The exchange was calm on the surface, but anyone watching could feel the venom under every word. And then came the moment that lit up the internet. Ashley leaned in slightly and whispered, "You're not hurting me." "Jock, you're embarrassing yourself." Then she smiled for the cameras and walked away before he could respond. That clip went viral within hours. Memes flooded Twitter. TikTok edits of Ashley's line racked up millions of views. And suddenly, public opinion, which had been split down the middle, started shifting heavily in her favor. "That's the energy we needed," one fan tweeted. "She's done playing therapist to a grown man." Another wrote, "He's trying to make her jealous. She's already gone." Jock, for his part, insisted in interviews that the woman he brought was just a friend, but no one was buying it. Paparazzi caught them leaving the event together. A gossip blog claimed they'd been spotted at a restaurant 2 nights later, whether it was real or just a distraction. The optics were bad and Ashley knew it. But here's where things took an unexpected turn. Just a week later, Ashley was seen having dinner with a well-known music executive, a man she'd once worked with on a brand partnership. Paparazzi photos showed them laughing, leaning in close, and leaving together in the same car. The internet went insane. Within hours, Jock posted a cryptic tweet. "Funny how fast healing turns into dating." Fans immediately called him out for hypocrisy. "Sir, didn't you bring a date to a gala?" One user commented. "Boy, be for real," another wrote. The storyline was now spiraling beyond either of their control. What had started as an argument over trust and communication had turned into a full-blown Cold War of public perception. Every move was analyzed. Every post was dissected. Every interview was a battlefield. And while they were both playing the PR game, friends on both sides started to worry. Bambi said it best in a confessional. "They're so busy trying to win the breakup that they're gonna lose the relationship." She wasn't wrong. In a private conversation with Rashida, Ashley admitted that part of her still loved Jock deeply. "I hate that I still care," she said, tearing up. "I hate that seeing him with someone else makes me sick. But I also hate that I don't trust him, and I don't know which hate is heavier." Jock, in a scene with Scrappy, confessed something just as raw. "I thought seeing her with someone else would make me mad, but it made me scared. Because what if she finds peace with somebody else before I can give it to her?" That vulnerability didn't make the situation any less messy, but it did make it more human. Two people caught between pride and pain, both trying to heal but still tied to each other in ways they couldn't untangle. The season trailer teased what's next, an emotional sit-down with Dr. Spirit. The show's GOAT. One thing's for sure, Jock and Ashley's story is far from over. If anything, this is the most explosive chapter yet. Because sometimes love doesn't end with betrayal or heartbreak. Sometimes it ends with two people realizing that loving each other isn't the same as being good for each other. The day of the therapy session felt heavier than any argument they'd ever had. This wasn't a reunion special. It wasn't a cast event. This was two people finally stepping into a room where excuses didn't work. And the cameras couldn't soften the blow. If the sit-down was raw honesty, this was going to be emotional surgery. And neither Jock nor Ashley knew if they'd walk out together or alone. Dr. Spirit, the therapist who'd counseled countless love and hip-hop couples, wasted no time. "Before we begin," she said gently, "I want you both to understand this is a space for truth. Not to win, not to prove who's right, but to understand." Jock nodded, hands fidgeting in his lap. Ashley crossed her legs and stared at the floor, her jaw clenched. The first question was simple but brutal. "Why are you here?" Jock answered first. Because I don't want to lose her, he said, voice barely above a whisper. I don't want our story to end with silence and pride. I love her, and I'm willing to work. Ashley hesitated. I'm here, she said slowly, because I need to know if the person I love still exists, or if I've been holding on to a memory. That line hung in the air like smoke. Jock flinched. It wasn't anger, it was pain. Because deep down, he knew exactly what she meant. Dr. Spirit leaned forward. Ashley, what does safety look like for you in this relationship? Consistency, she replied immediately. Honesty. Not having to investigate every feeling I have. I want to trust that his I love you isn't just a reflex. I want to believe I'm not a placeholder until something better comes along. Then she turned to Jock. And for you? Grace, he said after a pause, I know I messed up. I know I built a history that's hard to trust, but I need space to grow. With that, she turned and walked away. Not storming off, not slamming doors, just walking. Deliberate, final. And Jock didn't chase her this time. He didn't yell or plead. He just stood there, watching the woman he loved choose herself over the relationship they built. The cast surrounded him, offering hugs, words of comfort, and in some cases, stunned silence. Carly whispered, maybe y'all needed this, Rashida said. Sometimes the real love story is the one you build with yourself. Even Scrappy, usually the first to make a joke, just nodded and said, she'll always be a part of your story, bro. In her final confessional of the season, Ashley summed it up perfectly. I didn't leave because I stopped loving him. I left because loving him shouldn't mean losing me. And I finally realized that my peace matters more than my pain. And in Jock's final scene, he sat in his studio alone, reflecting on everything that happened. I wanted the fairy tale, he admitted, but maybe this is part of the story too. Maybe losing her is how I learned to love, right? Maybe the next version of me will finally get it right, whether that's with her someday or with someone else. The screen faded to black with a simple message. Sometimes love doesn't end, it just changes form. The reunion special trailer teased that Ashley and Jock would face each other one last time on stage. No cameras to hide behind, no therapy sessions to guide them. Just raw emotion and final closure. Fans were already buzzing with speculation. Would they reconcile? Would they remain friends? Or was this truly the end of one of LHHATL's most complicated love stories? Either way, one thing was certain. This wasn't a loss. It was a lesson, one that millions of viewers saw themselves in. Because the truth is, not every love story ends with a happily ever after. Sometimes it ends with two people realizing that love is real, but it isn't always enough. And sometimes the bravest thing you can do is walk away. As the credits rolled, on Love and Hip Hop, Atlanta Season 13, fans flooded social media with messages of support for both Jock and Ashley. Some begged them to try again. Others applauded them for choosing healing over chaos. But everyone agreed on one thing. This was the most honest, raw, and unforgettable storyline the show had delivered in years. And somewhere deep down beneath, the heartbreak beneath the regret, Jock and Ashley both knew that no matter how their story ended, it mattered. Because they had loved deeply. They had fought hard. And in the end, they had both chosen themselves. And there you have it, one of the most emotional, raw, and unforgettable stories in love and hip-hop. Atlanta history. Jock and Ashley showed us that love isn't always linear. And sometimes the hardest battles aren't against each other, they're within ourselves. Now we want to hear from you. Do you think they made the right decision by going their separate ways? Or was there still hope for reconciliation? Should Ashley have given Jock one last chance? Or was walking away the ultimate act of self-love? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. We're reading every single one. And if you're as invested in this roller coaster as we are, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss another deep dive into the drama. Because if this season taught us anything, it's that love stories never really end. they just evolve.